What is a good leader? What are different types of leaders? And what does this look like in action? I'm Tessa Meyer. I teach fourth grade at Stanford American International School. Today I'll be taking a deeper look at how we can answer these rich questions. What is a good leader? Are they born? Are they made? Leaders are developers, team builders, cultural caretakers, and inspirers. Their success depends on enabling the success of others. And as I reflect on good teachers I've had the pleasure of working with, I realize that I don't remember all of the wonderful things that they did or even necessarily the projects that they implemented. What I remember is how they made others feel and what kind of contributions they brought to the professional workplace. Leaders use respect. They bring a self-awareness to their work with others, and they lead change in responsible and meaningful ways. Nurturing the ability and the skills necessary to be a good leader takes time, but before one is able to successfully lead others, they must be able to lead themselves. This is one of the biggest takeaways I've taken from our leadership course. Leaders know what their blue and red zones are. They know what triggers these areas. They practice mindful leadership, and they acknowledge the importance of improving their mental focus, remaining calm in times of stress, and practicing small habits that contribute to a greater personal or professional goal. So what are different types of leaders, and what does this look like? Leaders come in many different forms and on many different levels. As teachers, we act as leaders every day we step into our classroom. Leaders may serve as facilitators, visionaries, or even transformers. To help us better analyze and understand leaders, David Perkins explains in detail 4 different leadership archetypes. And while each is fundamentally different, one might adopt multiple characteristics from each area. To the leadership table, each archetype brings its own challenges and benefits. I'll begin with answer-centered leadership. An answer-centered leader declares what needs to be done and why. This person will use experience and knowledge to inform and guide the group, and in many ways can be seen as the master, the one who is most knowledgeable, skilled, and informed. Some minuses to this type of leadership are that the leader might assume that they have all the answers, at the potential cost of better answers that could be created by the group or other individuals. And there's little incentive for group members to develop good knowledge processing, with the risk of staff developing overdependence. An answer-centered leader can be read as condescending or even mistrustful, and it does nothing to promote the individual or collective growth of the participants. A second type of leadership is vision-centered leadership. A vision-centered leader provides a broad direction and an inspiring why. This person provides a vision against which staff can consider particular situations and challenges. They are seen as hopeful, forward-looking, and inspirational. They foster trust in their own commitment. Contrary to these benefits, a vision-centered leader may create a sense of dependency. And if the staff doesn't believe in the vision, the leader can be seen as manipulative, arrogant, or even disconnected. A third style of leadership is inquiry-centered. An inquiry-centered leader provides an agenda with scope for finding direction and motivation. This person models what facilitating knowledge looks like, and their conduct is generally seen as participative and respectful. They are part of the group. This leader reinforces confidence in the capabilities of the group and is seen as encouraging and lets others do a lot of the thinking. This type of leader fosters intrinsic motivation and lets others take the credit for work. Some minuses to this style of leadership are that the leader risks underutilizing their own knowledge, skills, and experience as they are relying on others for so much. The leader can be perceived as weak or even lacking in knowledge. And ineffectual or incorrect inquiries can lead staff to question whether the leader is fit for that role. A final style of leadership is leadership by leaving alone. In this style, the leader provides scope for individuals to find their own way. The space provided by this type of leadership can be seen as refreshing or liberating, and it can produce motivation by throwing people out on their own way and letting them search through the resources and get used to it on their own. On the flip side of this, a leader who leaves alone does nothing to help with the challenges of collective knowledge processing and can be seen as uncaring or even risky in their conduct. Different settings and different personalities may respond best to different archetypes, And as a teacher, I can't help but think of these leadership styles in action within a classroom, as well as in a setting with my colleagues. For example, I'm currently working on a unit with measurement. If I were a vision-centered teacher or leader, I might consider showing my students some real-world examples of why we need to learn how to measure as an applicable real-world skill. I might show them how buildings are made to be sized a certain way and how architects and construction workers use these skills to build beautiful buildings. I might give them a measurement task related to this real-world situation after I've noted their engagement and buy-in. If I were a leave-alone teacher, I would give my students a measurement task or worksheet and then allow them to work with each other in meaningful ways without having much teacher involvement or guidance. These leadership styles also translate into administration, the leadership of teachers. For example, if I wanted to implement Readers and Writers Workshop in a school as a vision-centered leader, I might consider how to access the red zones of my teachers. I want them to feel a distinct buy-in to the program and feel invested in the implementation of the workshop. As a leave-alone leader, I might give the materials to the teachers and let them find their own way through the program. There wouldn't be many check-ins or guidance. And as I reflect on all of these, I find myself realizing that I'm very much a combination of leadership styles, especially with my students. Depending on whether I'm with my students or my colleagues, I lead differently. With my students, I'm a combination of all four styles. Depending on the task or topic, I vary my style and leadership ability. And with my colleagues, I respond best to leave alone and vision-centered leadership. I need to feel invested in what I'm working with. In closing, I'm confident that I've taken a deeper look into my prevailing questions. What is a good leader? What are different types of leaders? And what does this look like in action? Above all, I think a leader is authentic. In his article, The Focused Leader, Daniel Goleman tells us that to be authentic is to be the same person to others as you are to yourself. Treat others with respect, with dignity, with professionalism, and always be willing to grow and learn from all lessons. Because even for a leader, the path to learning is never truly over.